the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. This is how I jumped into my Saturday hanging out with AJ McCarron. Woo! You know what? If you want the ball, you go get the ball, and then you just take the ball where you want to go with it.
What a play.
The juggernaut known as Vanderbilt football.
Vandy, baby.
What are we doing here? It's the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. He's AJ McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. You know the drill by now. For the next hour, we're going to get you caught up on everything that happened today. We will set the table for what will happen tonight. First and foremost, wellness check, my friend. Last time we were on this couch together, it was not a glorious night as Alabama lost. How are we feeling today?
I got a pulse.
Okay. Well, I know that it's going to take a lot to live up to what we saw last weekend. There was absolute chaos everywhere. But there was one matchup today that gave us all we could ask for and more from a top team, and that was Clemson and Syracuse. And we picked this one up with DJ Uiagalelei putting the ball on the ground. Carter scoops it, scoops the potatoes, goes all the way back to the end zone with it. No impractical jokers here. That makes it 14
Can't do that
to
if
7.
you're DJ, dude. Can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was that sort of day for Clemson. Picking up here, Cuse trying to get it done. They go up 21-7 with the Schrader roll to his right in the scramble for the touchdown. Nice little run by the quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, in the third quarter, 3rd and 25, dropping back, looking for somebody. Looking. This was a huge play. Should be noted that they called that roughing, unnecessary roughness because he was out of bounds. That leads to a first down. That leads to a touchdown. You know DJ Uiagalelei is on the sideline now after quarterback change. That touchdown kept this game close. Now we pick it up.
So how does this one not get called?
That's the great question.
Because I didn't think the first one, I thought it was a bailout for Clemson. And then how does that not get called right there?
It felt like the first one was iffy, and if the first one's iffy, the second one has to be called. Shipley then goes up and away, launches for a 50-yard touchdown run. And before you know it, a game that looked like it was under control. I mean, a game it looked like Syracuse had, all of a sudden, was now the other way. Late in the game, trying to get something done, forces the ball in.
Yeah, and he just at that point, one, it was a bad route by Syracuse receiver. He was lazy into the route, and he's supposed to come back to the ball. Not a good play for them, and a tough way to finish what was looking to be a really good day for them.
The Sean Tucker, 5 rushes, 54 yards, and a rushing touchdown. The most stunning thing to me in this whole game isn't that Clemson found a way to beat Syracuse. Sometimes it just happens, and there's been a lot of close losses for the Orange in this matchup. I understand that. The most stunning thing to me is that they abandoned the run, and I didn't understand why. They had some success with it, and it felt like they just weren't making him a part of the game plan.
Well, I'll tell you the confusing part to me was, but at the same time, it's really good second-half adjustments by Dabo Swinney and that defense, because in the first half, they were allowing Garrett Schrader to do whatever he wanted at his own will. Like, he was throwing the ball, but they couldn't keep him in the pocket, so he was extending plays, and he had, I think, 90 yards rushing or something crazy in the first half. But the second half, Clemson made the right adjustments at halftime and came out and kept Garrett Schrader in the pocket and said, guess what? You ran all over us the first half, but we're not going to allow you to get outside of the pocket in the second half and beat us. And they stepped up to the challenge, and Syracuse's offense did not.
Teams that are -4 or -4, I should say, in turnovers were 0-17 this season until today. Clemson, at this point, I mean, they did everything they could to lose that football game, and they still won it. Now, as much as this is part of the story, we're going to send you to the big TV over on the side, AJ, because the biggest story from this game is going to be about the quarterback change that happened. DJ Uiagalelei was pulled from this game, not for health reasons, but because he frankly wasn't effective enough. So I figured the best thing we can do is have our QB1 break down QB1. Let's look at some of DJ and see what you saw there.
So right here, they're running a double out, high-low combination, pause. And DJ is late going to the higher out route, and the safety comes over, makes a great play. It's a bad decision by DJ, waiting way too late to throw an out route. Can't do it. Picked off for Syracuse. Right here, pause. The DN's not really rushing down the line of scrimmage, and he's not coming straight up. He's running at the mesh. Well, as a quarterback, if you're running an zone read if the DN's heading to the mesh point, it's an automatic give. Just go ahead and give it and live for the next play. Right here, you try to keep it, you fumble, 98 yards for a touchdown for Syracuse. Here we go again, DJ. Pause. We're throwing a seam route versus one high coverage. We can't throw it late. I've been a part of some teams that we decided to bend some seam routes versus one high. If you do that, as soon as he gets past the linebacker depth, we have to throw it on him. It has to be bang, right on his chest before he gets to the safety. DJ waits too long, waits way too long again, ends up being another pick. It was just a bunch of mental mistakes for DJ today.
I want to talk to you about the other quarterback then, because Cade Klubnik came in and there's now a lot of conversation, a highly touted recruit. Let's look at a little of what he did. I'm curious what your thoughts are in QB2 coming in as QB1.
Listen, for me, Cade had no pressure coming into this point, into this game. They were down 11 right here. Pause. Cade does a good job. They run an RPO, little zone read fake. He throws a whole shot into cover 2. It's a good ball. It was, one of his only 2 completions, basically in the quarter and a half that he played right there. But it was a good ball by him, good decision. Right here, they run a zone read. He keeps it, makes for a good gain, ends up sliding or getting down right here for a first down. Good play by him. Right here, this is a 2-point conversion play that they needed to extend their lead to go up 3. And this is a good play by him, extending the play and letting his receiver from the left work back to the right with him on the back line, stepping up, making a good throw. 2-point conversion, good.
So while you come back to the couch, I got to ask you then, because the real conversation is going to be what they do at the quarterback position moving forward. I don't think Cade was necessarily something sensational, but there was a different spark to the offense. What do you do as a coaching staff when you realize that maybe the guy is ready, maybe the guy isn't ready, but he definitely gave your team a different spark? How do you reward that, or do you?
I don't know if my mic just went out.
We got you. No, we still got you.
All right, you got me. You hit the nail on the head, Fitz. You said he gave him a spark. For whatever reason, him coming into the game, Cade Klubnik brought that spark for him. And it wasn't really the passing game. Like we talked about earlier in the day, watching the game, he from a passing standpoint, he was 2 of 4. Okay? It's nothing to just wow you over. But for some reason, whatever reason that is, it got their running game going. Will Shipley got going, and that helped them come back to win this game, and something that they're going to need going forward in the season. But it's a weird situation. I think they go back to DJ. Dabo at the end of the game did his interview, said that DJ was their quarterback. But I think he's going to be on a short leash again. I
am going to be genuinely curious to see how the College Football Playoff Committee ranks the win we saw. Gutty effort by Syracuse. Let's move on to the number 2 team in the land. This did not require a gutty effort, although Iowa's defense tried. I will say this. The final score is not going to be representative of the effort. All right, so we picked this thing up early. Actually, we are 19-10 at this point. And I don't know what you're thinking there as a quarterback. This terrible throw.
Listen, Peters had it. Look at the crosser. He's running wide open. 89, wide open. I have no clue what we're doing right there.
Yeah, Eichenberg gives the Buckeyes a 26-10 lead heading into the half, and it didn't get any better there with yet another interception. Padilla's throw is taken at that point. Padilla intercepted. Now we pick it up. C.J. Stroud.
It's a good 4th down play right here. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Stroud had some throws that I would thought were a little curious in the first half.
Yes.
You're seeing a score right now at 33-10, and it's only going to get worse. That's a pretty play right there.
That's a great catch.
Another good catch, yeah. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is absolutely a delight to watch and everything he does.
This is a ball right here.
Look at this. He waits, gets it. Whew. Just absolute. The bend not break defense for Iowa in the first half broke like a dam in the second half. I will say that. But Iowa's defense was giving Ohio State everything they could handle in the first half. They just couldn't match any of it. Stroud here drops back. I'm not even sure why the play action was there, but
yeah,
heaves it.
Another good ball.
It's just a perfectly thrown ball against better athletes.
Listen, if you're Iowa, you can't ask their defense to play that many minutes and not have any help whatsoever when it comes from their offense, and ask them to really keep you in the game for that long. Because it ended 54-10, but this game was closer than what that score shows.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa's only touchdown came from an interception. It was a pick six for the only score that they had. Iowa's offense is atrocious. And Iowa's offense is a complete and utter fail for the entire program. Like, it is an embarrassment at this point that you continue to put out a defense that can compete. And they did in the first half. Ohio State had great field position time and time. Again, they talked about it on halftime of the broadcast that in the first half, the average field position was in plus territory for Ohio State in the first half. They only managed 19 points out of that. Like, you were desperately watching an Iowa defense that was trying to keep this thing a game. And their offense just sucks. And it's just, it makes no sense.
100%. Spencer Petras was 6 of 14, 49 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Okay? Alex Padilla came in 5 of 10, 32 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. His first play from scrimmage was a fumble. Ohio State recovered. Iowa's defense comes out, stops them. Ohio State punts. First pass of that next possession, picked. So they got to find a way to get these quarterbacks comfortable and playing much, much better, or it's going to end up continuing to be a rough year for Iowa.
I'll give you one quick stat before we move on that I think is great. As a quarterback, you'll appreciate this. So Ohio State today was 7 of 7 on red zone drives. That's good. Ohio State for the season, 29 of 29 in the red zone. Every single time they're in the red zone, 27 touchdowns, 2 field goals. When Ohio State is in the red zone, you're done. It's just that is epic efficiency.
Well, I mean, that shows a winning ball team right there. Red zone is one of the biggest things when you talk as an offense. Hey, we have to be efficient in the red zone, and that's them to a T. So,
well, we'll keep it with explosive offenses as number 3 Tennessee had their cupcake and ate it. UT Martin, we pick it up. Hooker passes to Keaton for an 8-yard touchdown. That puts Tennessee up 21-7. Now in the red zone, Princeton Fant runs for an 11-yard touchdown. That makes it 45-7. Again, we're still in the first half. A little trickery here. Milton III throws to Fant, who throws to Hyatt for a 66-yard touchdown. Why are you putting that on tape in this game? Why are you showing anybody that play?
I don't know.
I mean, 52-7 at that point. It becomes 65-24. Another big day for Hendon Hooker is expected. 18-24, 276, 3 touchdowns. The Volunteers have scored at least 30 points in 10 straight games. That's the longest streak in history for the program. Their offense is absolutely undeniable. That being said, you play in UT Martin.
Exactly, but you came out and handled business the way you were supposed to. Jalen Hyatt had another terrific day after last week against Alabama. 5 touchdowns, 207 yards. 7 receptions today, 174 yards, another pair of touchdowns. Their offense is hitting on all cylinders right now, and they're going to be a scary team. They got a couple tough matchups coming up versus Kentucky and then Georgia, but their offense is clicking right now. Tennessee
has scored 351 points through 7 games. That's significant because it's tied for 3rd most by an SEC team through 7 games since 1936, right? Of the previous 3 teams, all made it to the national championship, 2 won it all. So in the world of offense right now, Tennessee's got to be looking at it and saying, why not us? One team that we usually talk about in the playoffs is Cincinnati. We got to give them a little bit of love. Taking on SMU, riding a 5-game winning streak. Luke Fickell out there saying, remember us? We were in the college football playoff last year. And we picked this one up, 10-0 already. Nice little run here.
Untouched.
McClellan just takes the handoff. He's gone 76 yards to the house. Swiggity Swooty went for the booty. Since he puts SMU in a 17-0 hole. Boo, she doesn't like that at all. Now we got Tanner Mordecai with the flea flicker. You like flea flickers or not, AJ?
I love them.
Really?
Yes. Very successful in college on doing them.
I've never really figured out how to run them on Madden. That's about the closest I would come to knowing. In the 4th quarter, Preston Stone in the game. Now we're in the 4th quarter. Preston Stone in the game. There we go. 4th and 14. Heaves one up. Just kind of putting it out there for the world.
Wow.
A little bit of a little, I mean.
Just how you drew it up.
A little tug on the shoulder. I don't know what we're doing there. A little tug. He's very, very angry about this. Now we have 29-27. Ben Bryant completes the little pass here. This is huge, obviously. Time running down.
There you go.
That's going to be enough.
Try to stay in bounds, though.
That allows them to seal the win. Let's give Cincy a little bit of love. They have a 6-game winning streak. They lost their season opener to Arkansas, but they have 19 straight wins against AAC opponents. It's the longest win streak against AAC opponents in conference history. And they're now bowl eligible for the 5th consecutive season. We had a lot of questions about what Cincinnati would be in a year of rebuilding. They're having a pretty damn good year. So congratulations to Cincinnati on the tough win against SMU. All right, it's time to get you ready for the big game with some big game sound.
In Happy Valley, on autumn nights like these, the Nittany Lions faithful gives new meaning to the phrase, white noise.
Welcome to pent-up Penn State energy.
For them, it's a chorus to inspire their team.
We're going to need everybody to stick with us and rally around us.
Touchdown, Penn State, game, set, and match.
Entering Beaver Stadium to fight the white of the Golden Gophers, determined to make some noise of their own.
We're going to turn it up to a whole different notch.
How about this? Wow, touchdown!
This horde of fanatics is very much alive with school spirit and an insatiable thirst for victory. Welcome to the Whiteout on Saturday Night Football.
I've never seen so much white gear in a parking lot in my entire life, which is a good thing because senior safety Jair Brown said that there's no better feeling after a disappointing or embarrassing loss than coming home for a whiteout in front of 109,000 fans. He and his teammates had no shortage of motivation this week as James Franklin reminded them of what took place in 2016. After a loss to Michigan, Penn State came back, beat Minnesota, won 9 straight, and became Big Ten champions. He applauded and urged and challenged his group to be able to respond in the same way, and that starts with Minnesota. The question for the Gophers, who are we going to see at quarterback? Are we going to see veteran Tanner Morgan, who took a punch to the helmet a week ago against Illinois? Or are we going to see Ethan Kaliak-Manis, who would be making his first career start in college in front of all of these fans? We'll see if it's him. Does he have the poise and composure necessary to find success? It's always helpful when you have an absolute star running back, Mohamed Ibrahim, next to you to see it through. Minnesota will need a big game from him if they want to be successful on the road.
That's right. We have it tonight. Minnesota in Penn State. Absolutely electric environment for the Whiteout. I went out there a couple of years ago with College Game Day, and it was absolutely insane. I will give them credit for an incredible environment. They're going to need every ounce of that tonight, though. This is a big matchup, and frankly, AJ, I'm just happy that for once it feels like we're not talking about Clemson. For the last couple of weeks, we've had Clemson every week for this primetime preview. This is a Minnesota team that runs the ball at a higher percentage than anybody else in the conference, and they run the ball really well. And so I'm looking straight at, as we just heard Kenny George mention, Mohamed Ibrahim, and you think about what he is capable of doing, and you look at the way 14 straight 100-yard rushing games, longest active streak in FBS. Like, my guy isn't just a star, he's a superstar. He's a stud, and he can run the ball on anybody. And it feels like the path to success here for Minnesota is to look at it and say, we're just going to cram the ball down your throats over and over and over again, bore this crowd to sleep, and just try and win a physical football game.
Well, especially after you saw Michigan last week and Blake Corum run through them. Right? I mean,
yeah.
they had holes that Mack trucks could fit through last week. So for Penn State, Sean Clifford has to play better this week. I picked them to win last week versus Michigan. I thought coming out of a bye they would be much, much better. But he was 7 of 19 for 120 yards. Like, they got to find a way to get him going tonight versus Minnesota. And they got to find a way to get Nicholas Singleton, their running back, the ball and get this running game back established. Because right now they've been struggling. They struggled last week. They got to find a way to create some momentum on offense and help their defense not have to play lights out.
Yeah, well, this feels like such a tough matchup for Penn State because you got to lick your wounds so quickly, right? Like, you just got your butt kicked. And, on the one hand, you can say, all right, well, we're just going to, we're going to put that game behind us. I mean, I just don't know that it's that easy, especially when you're facing another team that does run the football so well. So if Minnesota is able to establish the run the way I think they're going to try to, I just wonder if that gets into the psyche of a team that just got run all over with that here we go again mentality.
100%. If Minnesota comes out and establishes the run and is successful doing it early, I promise you, every defender on Penn State's defense is going to be like, oh, no, here we go again.
Well, and this is like a weird sandwich game, right, as we see Clifford the dog coming out getting ready for this thing. When you think about the fact that if you're Penn State, you just got your ass kicked by Michigan. Now, next week, you're going to get your just tail whipped against Ohio State, likely. I mean, that's why they play the games. But if you're Penn State, you got to come in with like an animal-like focus as you start this whole thing to say, hey, we got to get it right and get it right now, because if you don't, then you're absolutely screwed.
I mean, listen, you would have thought they would have had that coming out of the bye week to play Michigan.
Fair.
So the fact that they didn't, and then you jump into this game, wide out, I understand all that, all the hype behind it, but then you got Ohio State, so now you're in the pickle of, all right, well, am I looking forward to that game too much? And then you overlook Minnesota a little bit. So it could get tricky for Penn State right here.
I wonder what the expectations are. And I want to talk a little here on James Franklin, because you talk about James Franklin, he's sort of a rock star coach, right? Most people in the country, even if they haven't watched Penn State, know who James Franklin is.
Right.
He's got that aura about him that a lot of people know about. I just wonder, what the expectation is around the program. What are you paying for? Because, frankly, when you're Penn State, I don't know that Penn State as a program is really sitting here accepting the logic that every year they're going to be at best the third or fourth best team in their conference. I don't think that's what they're paying that's what they're paying James Franklin for either. So I would think that there's some pressure for expectation.
100%. I mean, because it's not like when you were in the Bill O'Brien era of Penn State when they had all the sanctions against them. You're at full go. I mean, so at what point does Penn State boosters and the board, president, everybody involved start to say, hey, we got to at least be in the college football playoff of some sort? I mean, let's creep in there because we're paying you this much and we're not really seeing the results in the end that we want to see. So, especially when Michigan and Ohio State seems like every year they're in the talks, it's definitely going to bring some heat.
I think it's an uncomfortable, I've talked a lot about this with SEC programs. I think there are some SEC programs that don't look in the mirror and realize who they are anymore. Yep. So, at some point, if you're Penn State, you got to look in the mirror and say, is it good enough to constantly be a substantial tier below these other two teams? I don't think it is. Let's get our picks in. I'll go first on this one. And look, I know it's at Penn State, and I know how good Penn State can be. I also can't get I can't get the picture out of my mind of what we saw happen to them last week on the ground. I think Minnesota's going to run the ball all over them. I think Minnesota can win this game. So I'm picking Minnesota in the upset here.
Trust me. I want to go with you, Fitzy.
Are we going to have our first? We have our first. We've agreed on every Saturday night game so far, I think.
I want to go with you, but I'm going to go with Penn State again. And if they let me down again tonight, I'll never pick them again. Okay? I picked them against Michigan coming out of the bye. Total letdown over there. White out. Big game back home. You got to get back on the winning track. And then looking ahead to Ohio State next week, let's get this thing going. It's the perfect time being at home. Let's get the offense back on a rhythm, playing with consistent play throughout the entire game. So I'm going Penn State tonight.
I like that. Look, for whoever loses this game, your season just went up in flames. So I love the urgency of what we're going to see. He's AJ McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. It's a college football show presented by AT&T 5G. Let's get you back to some highlights from some of the best action. A team AJ's been telling you about quite a while. Texas, back in action.
Baby. I've been saying it.
If you were first on that train, you opened my eyes to it. Part of the reason is Bijan, don't call me Deshaun Robinson, but he's got the mustard. Oh, and it's spicy. That's a big touchdown. Longhorns go up 7-3. Huge hole, nice cut. And just a reminder that Texas has a lot of offensive weapons, especially in the ground game. Texas looks like a totally different team. Now, Quinn Ewers flips it over to Worthy. He's got daylight.
I love that play design.
Oh, makes one man miss. Texas goes back up 14-10. Ewers dumps another easy one to Bijan.
Wide open.
It's like they were so worried about everybody else, they forgot to cover the most electric player there. And then we got this nice little pick, trying to go back shoulder. Tried.
It's a bad ball right there. You got to throw it where only your receiver can catch it.
Especially a bad ball from Spencer Sanders, somebody we have better expectations from on the next drive. It's not Bijan Robinson, no. It's Roschon Johnson. He's gone. 52 yards, rumbling, stumbling, tumbling all the way to the end zone. Longhorns go up 31-17. Spencer Sanders trying to make this one close. Drops back. Ooh. Got that dime right in there. Presley for the touchdown. Oklahoma State ties the game at 34. This game has been back and forth, y'all. I will promise you. It looked early on like Texas had it absolutely in hand, but look at that, 14-37, 244, 2 touchdowns and a pick for Quinn Ewers. The really amazing thing to me, you mentioned earlier momentum when it came to Syracuse and Clemson. We felt the same thing in this football game because there was a point where it felt like absolutely Texas had all of it, and especially running the football, they were getting whatever they wanted. So the fact that Oklahoma State has been absolutely, they've been able to just claw their way back into this game, testament to them. 100%,
because like you said, there was a point in this game where it seemed like Texas was taking this game and running away with it. Oklahoma State couldn't do anything at all. Spencer Sanders was struggling. They couldn't find a rhythm, but unbelievable job by them, clawing themselves back into it, tying the ball game up. I'll tell you what I don't like seeing, though, is Quinn Ewers, 14 of 37. He's played with a much better completion percentage throughout the past couple weeks. Their offense has seemed to be more in rhythm the past couple weeks. They haven't really done that today. Like, other than the running game, the passing game has kind of been off a little bit. And I said from the beginning, I thought Texas was a top 10 team with him at quarterback. They're in a dogfight right now.
Well, and because they have the 2 losses, I would argue that style points matter more for Texas than any other school in the country at this point.
Yeah.
Because you need to show the committee, which you'll see AJ and I hanging out with Christine Williams in our rankings and reactions starting in a couple of weeks. You'll see the committee value Texas, I think, a lot because of the way they lost their games. But that means they got to win their games with some convincing element of like, hey, we are that good now.
They have to. I mean, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, they have to have some convincing wins when you get Quinn back, and to show, like, hey, we're a totally different team.
Yep.
We're not the same team with our backup, a couple other injuries that we had. We're the same team that when Quinn Ewers was playing to start the year versus Alabama, I mean, we looked like we were going to take advantage of that and just walk away with that game. And then he goes out with the injury. So you got to find a way, as we're watching it.
Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
State.
This is what we always do. If you've never watched this before, shame on you. Where you been? We hang out every week.
Mm-hmm.
But Oklahoma State just got a 41-yard touchdown. There's about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That will put them up. 3 minutes to go. It's 40-34 now with 3:09 left in that game. So we will keep you updated on all the action as it happens. We watch it with you. It's our fun way to hang out. In the meantime, I mentioned rankings reaction. Well, let's get to our AT&T countdown to the College Football National Championship. It's time to count it down to the CFP National Championship presented by AT&T. And for that, we take a look at UCLA, Oregon, as they try to march to the CFP. And Oregon comes out and says, hey, speaking of style points, we want them.
Great
Bo
play
Nix
call right
throws
there.
to Terrence Ferguson, walks in the end zone. Now we got Dorian Thompson-Robinson dumping it off for Keegan Jones.
Wide open.
Takes it into the end zone. A lot of speed, a lot of offense, a lot of dynamic plays in this game. Tied at 10. Now Bo fakes it.
Oh, love it.
Bo knows how to heave it.
Great ball.
Troy Franklin. Absolutely beautiful football. Now we got Nix finding Franklin again.
Man coverage.
And look at that. A game that was close for a little bit, all of a sudden was 31-13. We pick it up 38-23. Bo heaving it again. Bucky Irving 37 yards for the touchdown. Oregon goes up 45-23 at that point. They pull out the win 45-30. This was a statement win for Oregon. Now, I'll be honest, for those of you that dabble, I dabbled on Oregon. I thought they were going to win this football game. It's not that they won this football game. It's that they kicked the snot out of UCLA, right? And, like, with game day there and with all of the hype and the atmosphere and the national audience that comes with these sorts of games and the eyeballs on it, AJ, like, they beat them bad. And now we have to have a reminder that Oregon's only loss is to Georgia.
First game of the year.
Exactly.
In Georgia. Well, basically Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's basically a home game for the Bulldogs. But, listen, I'll tell you, the most exciting thing for Oregon right now is the way Bo Nix is playing. And I'm going to give you a little stat here. It's not just Bo Nix playing on the road. It's Bo Nix playing at home. So, when Bo Nix was a 3-year, basically, starter at Auburn, at home, he had thrown for 23 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Away, 16 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. Okay? At Oregon this year, at home, he has thrown 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, Fitzy. On the road, he has thrown 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He is a totally different player when they're playing at home. Like, I don't understand it.
That's the real question, is why? Like, because I got that at Auburn. Now it's happening at Oregon, too. Why, from a quarterback standpoint?
So it's got to be from maybe a timing mechanism. So when you're playing on the road, you're having to deal with crowd noise. Your tackles are stressed because you're going on silent cadence. They don't know exactly. They have to peek in to see when the ball snapped and focus on, hey, are they blitzing to my side? What's the DN doing? So there's a lot on that. Then the receivers don't get off on the snap count on perfect timing. When you're at home, there's no crowd noise when you're on offense. Everybody can stay in sync, moves at the same time, rhythm in the passing game, routes, everything is perfect, right? So maybe that's a big point and a big reason why he's not playing as well on the road, but I don't know right now. But they just better hope that all their big games are at home.
Yeah, from now on, they're scheduling only home games. But you make a great point, and I think no matter what you do for a living, I think we all know people that, frankly, are at their best when they're the most comfortable. And whatever it is that creates that, that's the reality for Bo Nix. So if Oregon could just play everybody at home the rest of the way, it'd be much better for their program. We're still late in the fourth quarter. We'll keep you updated. Texas has the ball. They're going to try and drive to score to tie the game, but they trail right now 41-34 with 2:15 left. While we wait to see what happens there, let's get you caught up on what happened between Ole Miss and LSU. Lane Kiffin hanging out. Coach is talking. Judkins gets the carry here, walks right in for his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. This speaks to something AJ told you last week. If you watch the show every week, Ole Miss is explosive, but they are a running football team. Judkins does it again. By the way, Judkins second in all of the NCAA in rushing touchdowns behind only Blake Corum. Jaden Daniels drops back, gets it to Jenkins for the score here. This game was 17-3, and all of a sudden, before you know it, look at that.
That's brutal by Ole Miss's secondary.
So now you've got 17. You got that happen right there. 17-17 ties the game. 20-17, we pick it up late. Little touchdown pass there.
I mean, I just don't understand, Fitzy. Where has Ole Miss's defense been the last 2 weeks?
It doesn't make any sense. You're right. They've fallen off. And it's just the number of blown assignments, the bad plays. The plays are there to be made. They're just not doing it.
I mean, all Jaden Daniels is doing, they're just doing zone reads, and he's keeping it. Like, they did this last week versus Auburn. Like,
and look at that score. 45-20. And I was just mentioning Judkins on a day where he goes off 25 rushes, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ole Miss is going to look at this film and feel like they were in position to make plays and just didn't get it done. Like, at some point, we can only demand so much from coaches. Put the guys in the right situation, got to make the plays.
Yeah, I literally, like, Auburn's offense going into the Ole Miss game last week was brutal. And they put up a crazy amount of points, and it was a shootout at Ole Miss. And then Ole Miss turns around. Now, granted, LSU had a good game as an offense, but it's really their first good game as an offense last week against Florida. Before that, they haven't really done anything on offense. And then they come out today, and now they look like the best offense in the country versus Ole Miss. Like, it's 2 weeks in a row Ole Miss's defense hasn't shown up at all. This is the maddening thing about and look, it's parity across all of college football. But I would argue that we are sitting here every week watching the middle of the pack in the Big Ten beat each other, and you can't figure out what it means moving forward. We're watching the middle of the pack of the SEC beat each other and then trying to figure out what it means moving forward. I mean, these are the sorts of moments for Ole Miss that came in number 7 in the country. Ole Miss came in with at least you could go into that locker room and say, guys, there's a path to the college football playoff. Right.
What are we playing for? And then they come out and defensively look kind of flat, right? And so, I think it's curious that we're just seeing all of these teams beat up on each other in a way where an unranked LSU team that I'm not convinced is all that good suddenly looks good against Ole Miss, which speaks to the fact that maybe there isn't a 7th best team in the country right now that deserves to be number 7.
I'm with you. Like, I don't understand if you're Ole Miss. How do you show up and play this way? Like, you're literally, like, this is your chance. You have a clear path to possibly making the SEC championship game. Like, yes, you got a tough schedule coming up, A&M, Alabama, but like if nothing gets you amped up and ready to go, like it's being the number 17 ranked team in the country and then having a chance to be in the college football playoffs.
Especially when you haven't usually been there.
Right.
When you're number 7 and that's rare, you should be amped up. We're going to get you right now live to Texas, Oklahoma State. As we mentioned, great comeback by Oklahoma State. You're looking at 4th and 8.
Ooh.
Quinn Ewers trying to convert this here. This is everything for Texas, obviously, in this game. 34-41, they trailed in a game that it looked like they had under control early.
So right here, as a quarterback, you got to be telling your receivers, because every route's probably not going to be past the sticks. But if you have a 6-yard route, you're telling them in the huddle, hey, we're pushing it to the sticks, no matter what. I don't care if it's a 5-yard route. Like, find a way to make it 8, 8.5. Like, you have to be even or right up past the sticks to have a chance of getting the first down no matter what right here.
3-by-1 with one running back in the backfield. Ewers waiting for the snap. Takes it, drops, looks.
Got to give him a chance. Pick.
Oh,
he just messed his knee up. He just hyperextended his knee bad.
So what did Ewers do on this play?
Well, he floated it way too long. You can't float that. A wheel route, I believe that was to the halfback. They have to, if they show a replay, but
I think they're worried about the
I
health
feel
issue
bad
on
for
the
that
sidelines.
kid. I'm telling you.
Let's see if we can see what happened here.
But yeah, they try to hit Bijan on a wheel route.
Was that the right read to you?
Yeah, I'm fine with the read. Yeah, he just hyperextended his knee big time. Look at this. Oh.
Just a weird step.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, at this point, as they're pointing out on the broadcast, Texas still has 3 timeouts. So, in theory, they could stop the clock and try and get the ball back with seconds left. But that was ultimately their best shot at trying to figure out a way to win this game. This will be one of the bigger fails that we've seen in a while for Texas, considering how they started. Now, we take you live to Bama taking on Mississippi State. I cannot imagine what practice was like this week for Alabama.
I promise you it wasn't easy. And those talks that Coach Saban had to the team, I'd heard from numerous people that he basically told them, hey, everybody's job is open right now. I don't care if you're young, old, like we're playing anybody that wants to play, that's going to give effort, do the right things. His biggest thing is do your job. Don't try to do all this extra stuff. Try to do more than what you're asked. Just do your job. And there's supposed to be a bunch of new faces, even at the receiver position for offense for him.
Well, and we've talked a lot on this show about the fact that this is not as disciplined an Alabama team as we're used to seeing when it comes to penalties, drop passes. I mean, at some point, if you're Saban, you've got to look around and say, if my message isn't getting through, I'll find another message to give.
Well, I'll tell you what worries me, Fitz, is they're the last-ranked team in penalties. Like, they're the worst in college football. The worst. Like, have you ever heard of an Alabama Coach Saban team being the worst college football team when it comes to penalties?
No, because the concept we all have when we sit in front of microphones is that most penalties you see are a result of lack of discipline.
Right.
And you never associate discipline issues with a Saban coach team. That just doesn't compute.
It's mind-blowing. Last week, they had 17 for 130 yards versus Tennessee. They had 15 penalties, if my memory is good. 15 penalties for 101 yards versus Texas to open the season, or second game of the year. So they've had multiple games, 10 against Arkansas for 101 yards, I think. So they've had multiple games where they've had a ton of penalties.
Yeah, they had the worst thing. They had the worst discipline imaginable against Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
With drops added in, and they still had a chance to win the game. That's the thing that blows my mind, is that you're watching a team that in Alabama, and I can't believe I'm saying this, you're watching a team that's finding ways to lose. And that's not what Alabama or great football teams usually do. They find weird ways to win, and that's not the case this year.
Well, Coach Saban had a good quote in the media this past week, or this week, I should say, that he said, we got to find guys that aren't playing to be beat. Like, they're playing to win the game. And he said that multiple times, even when I was there. Like, hey, we're not playing to lose, not lose the game. Like, we're going out and we're going to make them play our style. Whatever style we choose to play, but they have to match us. And if they match us and they beat us, that's fine. But the chances of that happening are slim to none.
Right. So now we have a big 4th and 2 here with 1:15 to go in the first quarter.
That's a gutsy call by Leach.
Now, Leach has decided to put it all on the line. 2-by-2 running back to the left. What do you think they do here?
You got to throw it. Man coverage right here. Oh,
wow.
First down. Ran in a little option out of the gun.
Watch Jordan battle. He doesn't think that the quarterback's going to keep it. You'll see
Yeah.
9 come in.
Designed this way, right? Like, because he doesn't even give the route a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, straight.
Design little option.
Put Jordan Battle in a bind right there where he has to either pick Will Rogers, the quarterback, or he has to take the halfback.
It's a gutsy call, but I think if you're Mike Leach,
You got to.
yeah, look at the time of possession already. You're just trying to keep Alabama off the field.
100%. In the last 2 games, 2 times you've played Alabama, the combined score has been 90-9.
My God.
90-9. They played them last year after Bama lost to A&M, and they had to play Alabama then the following week and lost 49-9. And then the year before, they had a shutout. They got shut out against Alabama. So if you're Mike Leach, you're saying, screw it, we're going and we're doing whatever we can.
We will keep you updated on the game as it continues. Well, you know what that means. Mooing cows and banjos can only mean it's. Have we nicknamed our guy yet? Like,
not yet.
Maybe
but that booger's still there.
Maybe we call him Pugs. Maybe his name is we've already got a booger that works for ESPN, so now he's just Pugs the cow.
Bugs, yeah. I like it.
We're going to show you some of the best plays of today, and we'll score them. We'll see. We're very inconsistent on this. I'll score this one. An Indiana kickoff return for a touchdown. This is the way you start a game, right? Gets through, finds a little seam, presses the turbo button, gets to the outside. Lucas with a 93-yard touchdown kickoff return. Now,
Be gone.
it was nice. It was nice, but I got to give it a score. And the fact is, it gets a 56 from me. All he did was run fast. That's it. Oh,
to start the game?
Sure.
To start the game?
Sure.
Go.
I can't even do that on Madden. All right, let's pick it up here. You get this one. Rutgers touchdown. What do you think of this?
It's all right. Good concentration. He didn't have a clue where his feet were, though. He just got lucky. I'm giving it a good old 63.
A 63?
63.
Oh, man, we are tough. Last week, AJ was handing out hundreds like he was rich. This week, 63s. All right, let's go to the next one. I got this Clemson action. Actually, it's a Syracuse highlight because it's a scoop and score.
That's
bad
bad play by DJ right there.
So that's the problem. Like, I got to judge this, right? Like, I got to give this a score. And when you think about it, I mean, Carter picks it up and then just runs with it. And not only is he running with it, he's running with the whole pack of his buddies running with them. They're going just on a little, jog through the streets. I gave this a 63. All he did was run fast.
I agree with you on that one.
Oh, look at this.
I agree with you on that.
Look at this. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And this is a little Tennessee double pass. Here goes to the halfback. Halfback whips it out. Touchdown balls.
I mean, who did they play?
Oh, UT Martin. Oh.
UT Martin? We pulled this play out versus UT Martin?
Oh, man.
I mean, come on.
Wow.
Yes, it's a halfback pass. It was nothing special.
Oh, what's
I give
the
it
score?
a good old 50.
A 50. A 50. Okay, we're on something today. Let's see if it can get any better here. A little punt return action in the Memphis-Tulane game. Jackson's going to field the punt at the 10-yard line, and then you know the rest. It wouldn't be in this if it wasn't a beautiful play. So he finds a way around. He runs around, and then again, presses the turbo button. There's a theme to all of this. He's fast. He's fast, definitely.
He's real fast.
Because he had to make a little move, I gave this one a little bit more credit. It took a little vision. He had to kind of wiggle around. I gave it a 77. 77.
I think that's too high.
No, look.
I think it's too high.
Okay, well, you get one more chance. The last one comes to you, and this is from the Texas-Oklahoma State game. Watts completes a juggling interception on Sanders. Sanders going for the back shoulder throw. He tips it up into himself.
Nothing special. Nothing special.
Man.
He threw it right to him. It was a terrible ball by Spencer Sanders.
Look at this. What do we get?
Good old 68. That's it.
Holy cow. I don't know who did what in our Wheaties, but we were definitely not scoring things nice today. Woo! All right, let's get you back to Oklahoma State, Texas. Texas already got the ball back. 3 and out. They got the punt. They've used all of their timeouts, but now they have a false start. There's 40 seconds left. 1st and 15 is where Texas will be, and they're on their own 40-yard line. So no timeouts, but you do at least have the first down clock stoppage. So maybe there's a little hope there, but urgency is key.
We're just slinging it deep, though.
Not sure I love the...
No, I don't like that play call. Come on, Sark. Let's get some in routes, something that allows us to push the ball down the field, but not just straight go balls.
Right.
I really don't like that play call. Here we go again. 3-by-1.
And I think the biggest difficulty here is every one of those plays is a wasted 8 seconds. It means you're up against more coming forward.
And see, I don't like that either. They throw that. That was a 6-yard route.
Yeah.
If
he puts that ball in a better spot, any chance the guy makes a play? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I like that is if he throws it out front, he catches it and runs out of bounds.
Right.
So now you're in a 3rd and short, not in 3rd and long, and you can stop the clock. But right here, you're in 3rd and 15, 27 seconds left. Oh, great ball. Get up, get on the ball. Hurry up.
Now, in this situation, is there ever a play called, or are you just clock? It's just clock, right?
No, what are they doing? No, you should already have hand signals. You should know what you're going with. Oh, pick.
Oh. And that's going to be game.
Ball game.
That was a good pass.
Oh, yeah.
Went right
Great
up.
ball.
Oh.
Great ball. He's got to catch that.
Unfortunate way for this game to end for Texas. Huge win for Oklahoma State. Makes me say bruh a little bit. Hey, AJ. I know. It never gets less annoying. You know what? He says bruh to me the way I do that every time. Are you ready for bruh delivered by Pizza Hut?
Let's do it, bruh.
All right, let's take a look at some of the most questionable plays in college football. And we start right here with Syracuse, Sean Tucker. Just having a hard time, getting them pads on. That's a medium if I've ever seen one.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, that's one of the toughest things to do. Everybody needs help putting their pads on with their jersey on.
That's amazing. I'll be your pad helper. I won't be your fake punt taker because this just didn't work. Iowa wasn't getting any offense. The punter got a little frisky there, thought he could get to it.
Listen, he was the most rooted for player on Iowa's team until today.
Now we got a little acting coming from the kicker.
Oh!
I love Casey Legg flopping. Great name for a kicker, by the way. Just sits, lies there.
Dude, the best soccer player on the team by far. Bruh.
Oh, I'm always in for a good flop. I like a good acting job whenever we can get it. And Weber State, got to get the snap. These are all special teams today. Oh, making McAfee proud. I don't know what's happening there.
He almost made it.
I mean,
Over the goalpost.
the fact is, if that goes all the way out into the stands, I think they should let somebody keep it. That is the ultimate. Bro, you got to get it to the guy for him to be able to kick it. Plenty of special teams action today that made us say, bruh.
3 of them. Bruh.
Speaking of special teams action, check out the opening kickoff between A&M and South Carolina. Xavier Liggett takes it, gets there, finds a seam, pushes through somebody, finds a seam, keeps his balance.
Lord.
Oh! See, that's not just running fast.
Terrible
That's
tackling.
running through some people. That's great running. Such a tough judge. Let the celebration begin. That crowd is going to be fired up. That is a way to start a game. That is absolutely a way to start a game. We're going to get you live now to Penn State, Minnesota. You're watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. I'm Jason Fitz, hanging out with AJ McCarron. Minnesota with the ball. 3rd and 17. The always fun handoff up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you're backed up and you're not feeling confident about the passing game, that's a safe call. Let's just run a draw or just straight handoff and live to see the next play.
Yeah, I mean, that's a live to see the next drive moment, and I get it. It's just always, for everybody involved, you're like, yep, that's the way to end the drive.
How about these unis by Penn State, or the helmets? I love, this is the best helmet they have.
Oh, it's
when they go the light gray face mask with the, with the numbers on the side.
I like that. It's very classic.
So it looks so good. And I like the blue stripe on the pants. You usually don't have that.
The whiteout atmosphere in general is always so insane too, with all the fans in white, just sort of rumbling, stumbling, getting the whole place just has a vibe to it.
I had a chance of starting second game of my career at Penn State. It was Joe Paterno's last game as head coach, but it was a whiteout and biggest crowd they ever had in the history of Penn State. They had to bring in extra stands, and it was electrifying. Like one of the best atmospheres I've ever played in.
That is incredible. And there's certain places. Look, Happy Valley's a pain in the butt to get to, but once you're there, it is not for Alabama players. You guys just ride your private jets and go in there. But for us little guys at ESPN, it was a delight. Let's see here. Penn State gets the ball, 2nd and 12 early in this game.
Freaking 2 yards on the first run of the game.
Yeah.
There we go. Positive. That's fine. Make it back to 3rd and 7.
I mean, but you'll take that too if you're Minnesota, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And great, I'll give you 3 yards there.
Yeah, if you're Minnesota, you're loving that, because 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, like that's a 3rd and long situation for an offense.
And you're playing an offense that's not great at this.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't show much last week when it came to the passing attack. So we'll see if they can. Sean Clifford and the Penn State offense can get something going right here, though. He's looking for the tight end up top, check down.
Interesting nugget here. In 2021, on throws that were in the air for more than 10 yards, Clifford threw 13 touchdowns last season. This season, he only has 1 touchdown that way. And frankly, they have gotten their butts kicked trying to throw the football this year. His completion percentage is way down on balls in the air for at least 10 yards. He's only completing 32% of those, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So that's been a problem for Penn State this whole year. So if you're Minnesota, you know the way to win this football game is to hold them to that.
Yes, 100%. And if you're Minnesota, you're loving that your defense stepped up to the challenge right there and made them go 3 and out.
Let's take a look now live at South Carolina, Texas A&M. Score on this one, 10-0. We showed you the opening kickoff returned 100 yards for a touchdown. That's a hell of a way to start. 2 turnovers already for A&M in this game.
Wow.
2 turnovers. So not an ideal start
At all.
to say the least, for an A&M team that is just a gross disappointment.
Good run right there. Man, this would be a big win for Coach Beamer in South Carolina.
If you're South Carolina on this drive, I mean, there's a part of me that says, hey, you just do what you do. But there's another part of me that says you'd love to hold the ball for the next 6, 7, 8 minutes and then score a touchdown. Just grind them down and go up 17-0. That's like
100%. But at the same time, there you go, Wildcat. Oh, second effort getting it.
Big effort
I love
play.
it. Oh, he's still going. Down to the 4-yard line. Let's go.
1st and goal now.
That place is rocking. I'm telling you, I've played there. It was in 2010, and Stephen Garcia, Alshon Jeffrey had one of the best games of their entire careers, and South Carolina put it on us. And that place was going nuts. And it was an awesome place to play at, though.
That's a great point.
Here we go, 1st and goal.
Out of the pistol now.
Little jet motion. Zone read, touchdown.
Oh, nice little touchdown.
Got him.
That's a nice run.
That's a great play. Great play. You see, you run that jet motion right there to try to force the secondary and linebackers to bump with it. So you basically just doing that for eye candy, just to get them out of position. So that way your halfback can go right up the middle and then cut towards the backside from where the jet motion came. Great play call, great play design. South Carolina up big on A&M.
Nice work by the offensive line, too, on blocking that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, it felt like they.
I mean, I think he went through untouched almost.
Yeah.
Oh, they're faking it. And they got it. Let's go. Oh, no, they called the flag?
It's going to be an illegal formation, right? Like, anytime we get cute like that, somebody wasn't set.
But this play was scouted out a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, man, that was to the big fella, too. Number 91? Little shovel pass?
You called that like 2 weeks ago.
Let's see what the refs have to say on this one.
Yep, illegal shift.
Yeah. Almost every time you see a cute extra point happening, you're like, yep, somebody wasn't set.
Now you got to kick it.
Yep.
Just go up 17. Oh, the O-line.
Where the movement came on the shift.
No, that's a bogus. That's a terrible call.
I think the right guard or whatever he is in that set.
That's a ticky-tack call right there.
Yeah, that is.
That
I
is
don't love anything on that.
No, that was a ticky-tack call.
I'm not 100% sure why they decided to go for it there. I'm going to be honest. Like, I mean, what's the difference? Like, you want to go up 17-0 or 18-0?
Well,
maybe it's just like instilling, like, this is our game and we do what we want.
Well, I guess it's to make it a 3-touchdown game instead of a 2-touchdown and a field goal is the only reason right there.
Yeah.
But, man, that was so close to being really good.
That's one of those plays, too, that when you see it and it's executed, you want it to. Like, I wish there was a world where we could live in where they're like, yeah, it was close, we're just going to give it to you. You know, that's the world we live in. We also live in a world where, frankly, right now, Alabama's up 7-0. We feeling good, AJ?
Not great for their offense. I mean, they came out first possession, threw a touchdown pass, but haven't really done much since then. So, I mean, we're already through the first quarter. They're driving the ball right now, but you would hope to be a little more into it.
Well, what I do know is if you're watching us in the ESPN app, you can authenticate. You can stay here all night and watch all the college football you could ever hope for. Alabama up 7-0 on Mississippi State. We are tied 0-0 in the big game between Minnesota and Penn State. It has been a delight, as always, this week. If you're just hanging out with us, come back every single week. We are here at 7 p.m. from 7 to 8 to get you caught up on everything you need to know. It takes a whole crew of people behind the scenes to make this show happen. We appreciate every single one of them. He's AJ McCarron. I'm Jason Fitz. Thanks for watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G.
Roll.